Hello, everybody. Pastor Mike here again from Project Re3. Just checking in on you, seeing how things are going, making sure that you're keeping your social distance. You know, that seems to be the catchword of 2020. I mean, when it's all said and done and this year is finally past us, I think we'll look back, and if we're going to award a phrase or a word as the phrase of the year, it has to be social distancing. It's something that is coming out of all our mouths, no matter how young or old you are. Everyone understands exactly what it means. Now, they may not always be following the rules of social distancing, but we know what it means. Just the other day, a friend of mine were discussing this idea of social distancing, and it came to us at a bit of a revelation that this idea of distancing is not something new to 2020. That long before there was social distancing, if we're really honest, we all have been practicing emotional distancing. I mean, just think about the people that you work with, or maybe used to work with before you were quarantined or at your home having to do Zoom meetings. How many times did you pass these folks in the hall? Maybe you knew their name, you knew what their job was at the office, but you never really stopped and asked who they were, where they grew up, how they got to your company. How many times have we waited in line at the grocery store, just staring straight ahead, not making eye contact with the person behind us or in front of us, maybe not even making eye contact with that cashier? And then in my world, you think about church. How many people have walked into churches, whether it's a 2,000 person church or a 50 person church? You walk in every week, you sit in your same pew or your same seat. You turn around and maybe recognize the same people that are always sitting around you. And then you get up after the service and you leave. And then you wonder, man, I just don't feel like I connect with anybody. Well, duh. It's because long before social distancing, we were emotional distancing. You see, we knew about each other, but we really never knew each other. And the sad thing about emotional distancing, it was never mandatory. It was not something that we had to do. We were emotionally distancing ourselves on purpose. But here we are in this age of social distancing. I think we're all realizing God understood what he was doing when he created us. In the book of Genesis, in the first chapter, he said, "It is not good for man to be alone." And I think we're realizing that. Hopefully you are. So as my friend and I were talking, our prayer is that maybe something will happen over these next few weeks or months, that as life hopefully will soon start getting back to normal, and we can start shopping at our normal places again and going back to our jobs again and cheering on our favorite sports teams again, that we won't be so emotionally distant, that we can use this time right now that we're having to be socially distant to maybe start to cultivate some of this emotional attachment and need that we really should have for one another. I mean, think about it. If you're out, and I know not everyone wants to get out or can get out, some of us have to. If you're out, what about a smile and a nod to a stranger? What about just simply asking the cashier, "How are you doing?" I mean, think about that person that pops up in your mind every so often that you always say, "Oh, I should give them a call." Well, why not do it now? You don't have anything else to do. I mean, in our mailboxes. I'm not talking about our email mailbox. I'm talking about our physical mailbox in front of your house. I'm going to tell you a little secret. It's not just for collecting things. You can also send things. Like, how about writing an old-fashioned letter and sending it to someone that you haven't spoken to in a long time? But speaking of email, why not send out some emails of encouragement versus sending out emails that are simply requesting things? Maybe use this time on social media or with people you're reconnecting with to ask some questions that maybe you've been too busy to ask or maybe too scared to ask. And maybe this is our time to get over the awkwardness of seeing ourselves on camera and actually go face to face with a video call, to FaceTime someone, to Zoom someone, to be able to see them and allow them to see you. More than anything right now, I want you to understand that distance does not mean distant. That just because we're away physically, just because we're practicing the social distance, doesn't mean that we have to be emotionally distant. So let's use this time of separation as inspiration. Now, more than ever, is the time to get close, emotionally close. Thank you, and I hope you have an incredible day. See you soon.